Not us. We have absolutely no use for these two statistics, so I'm not really going to cover them that much. Intelligence also increases your ability to critical with spells. It's not important for us. These stats essentially don't even have to be there. These are the three stats that matter to us, and realistically speaking, damage warriors only have strength. So those are the base attributes. Our health, like I said, is a function of our stamina. You'll notice that our stamina only increases our health by 190. That's because in this game you get a little bit of base attribute. Jeez, another yawn. It's probably that tasty beverage I drank. So I don't remember this base. We have 100 and like 18 HP base, which is sort of our base total, and you'll see that all the way through. The stats never really match up to what they should be, so that's our base attributes. Under general, we have our health, like I said. Our rage bar never changes; it's always out of 100. We always start off with 0 until we get abilities that allow us to build up rage. Before we attack something, those abilities also always put you in combat. As soon as you are out of combat, that is, your character's not sitting there, like looking like they're gonna attack. As soon as you're out of combat, that is, you're not fighting something, rage starts to degenerate and eventually just ends. Our item level is a function of if you see under the gear, it says item level, item level, item level, item level, and I actually believe that it's not an average so much as it is. That might be an average. It says average, but I trust Blizzard's tooltips, like I trust a thief or a wallet inspector to give me back my wallet. I guess I could do the math if I really wanted to, but anyway, I'm not gonna do that. Essentially, the only thing that item level really matters for is telling you how powerful an item is. And you'll find often you can be restricted from entering certain dungeons if you have too low of an item level, which is essentially Blizzard's way of being like, you're too much of a noob, you can't come to this dungeon yet, go out, get your gear a little bit better, and then come back and try. It's really easy to get, and not something you have to particularly be worried about. Your speed tells you how fast you move. There are speed and movement speed changers, I guess, increasers, things that make you faster. None of that matters. Just don't pay it any mind. These are our melee attributes. I think I've covered them before. This is our damage. It includes any modifications that are on there. This is our damage per second, which truthfully doesn't need to be there anymore. It's pretty much antiquated. Essentially, it's just there to tell you if this weapon is better than another weapon. We have our attack power, which I said is a function of strength. And attack power will actually increase your raw DPS by a certain amount. Ours right now is 6.5 damage per second. So these two things here are being calculated as a function of damage divided by time. And this will increase the damage portion of that equation. We have our weapon speed, which hasn't changed. We have our haste, which makes you attack faster. So this, if we had haste, this number would be lower. It would be like 1.8 if we had a certain amount of haste. We have our hit chance, which is our chance to hit monsters. We've already covered that. Our crit chance, and then our expertise. Expertise literally just refers to your ability to overcome your opponent's avoidance. So if your opponent can avoid your attack, expertise can negate that. So if we're fighting a level 13 mob, that level 13 mob has a 5% chance to parry us and a 5% chance to dodge us. That doesn't have anything to do with our chance to hit the monster. I believe the chance for them to dodge and the chance for them to parry is a separate roll. So it's like when you attack something, it rolls to see if you hit and then rolls to see if they get to negate that hit. I gotta sneeze one sec. Sorry about that. So that covers all our melee attributes. These guys here are important. They're very relevant to us. Okay, it's something you should keep in mind. You should look at, and it's a good way to benchmark your character if she or he is getting better, or if she or he is getting worse. If these numbers go down, something is wrong. Basically, any of these numbers. But some things are more useful than others. For example, once you reach plus 5% chance to hit, you can no longer improve your special moves' chances to hit against equal level monsters. So we have what's the saying is called soft hit cap, which is usually about 6 or 9. I think it's 9. No, it's 8% chance to hit gives you soft cap, which means that your special abilities can never miss. And I think there's always a 1% chance that they can miss regardless of what your hit rating is, but I don't know. What I can tell you is that if you have 8% chance to hit, you have pretty much enough hit, quote unquote, that you never need to think about it again. But some people like to have more because they like to be doing more normal attacks that are landing, because more landed normal attacks literally means more rage. Haste haste isn't a very useful stat in my opinion, because it doesn't scale with all our abilities. Because we have, say we had 20% haste and we're attacking 20% faster, Bloodthirst, Rend, Victory Rush, Heroic Strike, none of our abilities care about that because they're always going to be on a 3-second cooldown. So I feel like haste is a pretty bad stat for warriors. So try to avoid it. If you can't, it's fine. It will increase your damage. Critical chance is great. It affects every ability. Crits can't miss. So if you critical, it gives you, critical chance actually gives you baked in hit chance. Expertise is fine and all, but I'm not, to be honest, I'm not such a huge fan. I mean, if you look at your how much expertise percentage you need to never have a monster parry you, it's like 14%. And that's really only relevant to tanks, because if you're attacking the back of something, they can't parry you. I think they can still dodge, but they can't parry you. So if you are going to be a damage warrior, or a DPS warrior as we call them, remember, number one, when you're in a dungeon, attack the monster's back always. Always the back, alright? Always. Never attack their front. Lichy will tell you, never attack the front of the monster if you're damaged. This is my number one pet peeve that people do in World of Warcraft. You want to do more damage, poke them in the butt. Alright? Always remember, the butt. The butt. The butt. Alright, now that I've covered that, we can look at defenses. Defenses are fine and good. Mostly, defenses relate to tanks. As a DPS warrior, you essentially would be willing to trade all your defenses, all the armor, all the dodge, all the parry, all the block, everything for just more strength. Because strength is good, these are bad. If you're a tank, it's inverted. You'd trade all of these, except for stamina, for this. And stamina. So what we have here is our armor. That's literally our physical armor. You can see this chest plate gives us 65 armor. It gets a lot. This number gets a lot higher once you start wearing plate mail at level 40. So right now, anybody who attacks us will do 19.35% less damage. And this is a number which affects us too. Not this number, but monsters have armor, and that reduces our physical attack. You used to be able to get a statistic called armor penetration, but they got rid of it because it was a bad, basically just a terrible stat. And I totally agree with them getting rid of it. I couldn't stand it on my Death Knight. They just gave me all this armor penetration, and all I did was cast spells that didn't use it. Our chance to dodge is fairly self-explanatory. There's a little, like, before diminishing returns. They put diminishing returns in just so that you can't actually get to the point where you can never be hit. This actually used to happen in the Burning Crusade. We used to have rogues tanking the strongest boss in the game. Well, the strongest boss before Black Temple. Before Sunwell. Sorry about that. Anyway, it's irrelevant. Chance to dodge is literally just a 5% chance for monsters to not be able to hit you. Parrying is the same. But as I said, you can only parry what hits the front of you. You cannot parry from behind. So you see where your weapons are facing? That's the direction you can parry. If something attacks you this direction, you can't parry it. That's why damage stays at the back. Hit the back. The back. Alright. Sorry about that. That's Xpux's number one pet peeve about World of Warcraft. Our block chance is incredibly irrelevant now because we do not have a shield. And if you don't have a shield, you can't block. Again, that's a tanking stat. When I do my tanking tutorials and things like that, I'm going to talk about the defensive stats, which ones I like, which ones I don't like, why I like them, why I don't like them. So I'll cover all of that in there. But it's important to be mindful of. If you're going to be a DPS warrior, just close that and never look at it. You never need to look at that. Resistance is here. are totally irrelevant. The only time they matter is, I mean, is if you're doing a resistance-based boss. Classic example is there was a fire resistance fight in Molten Core that you needed fire resistance for. So we would load up on fire resistance to fight it. And in Naxxramas, there was a frost resistance fight, which was nice to have frost resistance. For modern day WoW, most of the resistance based fights are covered by either buffs or easily craftable gear. Again, this area, just close it. You don't need to look at it. These are your 3 ones you care about. Strength. Alright, if you're a DPS warrior, it's all about the strength. So hopefully that's a clear enough coverage of those stats. I don't 100% know if it is. If you have any questions, just comment, send me a PM, whatever. I can give you, not only can I give you more in-depth explanation of each stat and sort of which stat's better for which particular specialization, but I can also give you a ton of research which will show you you know, spreadsheets and all those kinds of really great things that you really need to know which is the best. So right now we're going to be doing a vehicle quest. I hate these, but they are what they are, and sometimes you have to do them. This is going to be a bombing run, so we're going to throw bombs. Boom. And we're going to be killing Murlocs. I can tell because I know what a Vilefin is. It could be Naga, but I'm pretty sure it's a Murloc. So this is actually not like flying somewhere. This is a quest that is put in place. That's interesting. This is a quest that is put in place for this explicit purpose, and there'll be some area where Murlocs spawn. We have to kill 50 of them, so you know, you huck bombs. It'll give you like a nice, if you watch, you can actually spam it off the cooldown by tapping it really fast. This is something I learned in the Burning Crusade, that you can actually throw them faster than the cooldown will allow you to. Anyway, I hate vehicle quests. I think they're the worst part of WoW. I think they never needed to be added. I'm not a Halo gamer. I don't like vehicles. I don't like... Well, that's not true. Battlefield Bad Company had some fun vehicles. So I will redeem that. Vehicles can be fun. In this game, they're not. They're just stupid. You know, let me beat monsters up. Let me, you know, do something else, but just keep me out of the fucking vehicles. If the language is objectionable, just let me know. I'm trying to be, I'm trying not to just be like shit, fuck. But you know, if it's super objectionable, I'll make a conscious effort not to do it. You know, like for example, if you're 7 and watching this video, and you're like, I'm 7. Or if you're free. That's 3 and kids speak. Anyway.
We are the Forsaken.
So now we have a nice little bug going on here. Which is caused by me, you know, essentially glitching that out. And using a bug that's been in the game for like 6-7 years. That gives you a good rendition of how much Blizzard cares to fix certain things. I think there's still bugs in the Dead Mines, which is like the first instance they designed. I think that instance was in beta. Anyway. You can see the effect that the undead have had.